Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a fantasy horror film, Gogol Part 2, V. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with the two sisters, Sister Young and Sister Old, secretly meeting their boyfriends. Their strict father dislikes them because they belong to a low-class society. One afternoon, Sister Young goes to the field to bring food to her boyfriend, who is a shepherd. She expresses her desire to get married when she reaches the legal age. However, her boyfriend is hesitant because he thinks that no one would like to marry a poor and ugly man like him. Their conversation is interrupted when a sheep runs into the woods. As they chase it, they are frightened when a mysterious creature appears in front of them. They run for their lives, but the boyfriend doesn't notice that his girlfriend falls to the ground. As he looks for her, he screams to death when the mysterious creature appears again. Gogol is a young judicial clerk gifted with supernatural power. He gathers his men, determined to hunt down the horseman, the one responsible for the murders of many women in the village, as shown in the first episode. They open a trunk left by the detective, who was in charge of the case but seemed to have been killed by the horseman. They see a paper with 12+1 written on it, and another paper with the dates when the horseman killed his victims. The last date written is October 2, which will happen a day after tomorrow. They conclude that the total of 12+1 is 13, which is equivalent to 13 holidays a year. 4 holidays have already passed, and the horseman has already killed 4 women. There are still 9 remaining holidays, so they assume that he'll kill 9 more women. Unbeknownst to the team, Gogol immediately hides the file that contains the detective's research about his life. One day, a sorcerer who's believed to be taking souls of innocent people arrives in the village. The priest pleads to the police chief to detain the sorcerer, but he refuses because there's no valid reason to detain him. Later that day, Sister Young's family visit Gogol to ask for his help in looking for her. They inform him that she still has not returned home after taking food to her boyfriend. Gogol believes that Sister Young is still alive, so he promises her family that he'll do his best to bring her safe. Afterward, the rich married lady, Lisa, arrives. She tells Gogol that while she's taking a naked bath, a woman appeared before her and warned her to stay away from him. Gogol explains that the beautiful woman is a ghost named Oksana, who was found dead in the river near the windmill 30 years ago. Oksana has hormone feelings for Gogol. That's why she tries to scare Lisa to stay away from him. Their conversation is interrupted when Sister Young's boyfriend arrives, covered with blood. Gogol and the police chief interrogate him and ask the whereabouts of his girlfriend, but he just screams the word beasts. Thereafter, as per Gogol's advice, the villagers go to the woods to look for Sister Young. Gogol then sees Oksana and expresses his disappointment because she keeps on harassing Lisa. Oksana is very upset, so she tells Gogol that she'll not help him in mastering his supernatural power again. A little while longer, they find an almost decomposed body, which they think belongs to Sister Young. The police chief then concludes that the murderer isn't the horseman, but Sister Young's boyfriend. But his conclusion is proven wrong when Dr. Vodka checks the vodka-smelly organs, only to find the body doesn't belong to a human, but to a sheep. Despite Dr. Vodka's excellence, the police chief still mocks him because he can only examine corpses but cannot operate on the living. It's then revealed that years ago, Dr. Vodka stopped curing people because he blamed himself for the death of his young patient. While Dr. Vodka is washing his bloody hands, Gogol collapses and has visions that Sister Young is still alive, and the horseman will kill her on the upcoming holiday. He also sees a fiery autumn flower. That evening, Gogol checks the file that contains the detective's research about Gogol himself. He finds out that he had 5 siblings, but 2 died in childbirth and 3 died in infancy, and only him, the eldest of all, survives. Gogol gets more confused when he reads the highlighted part of the file, the mystery of birth, a dark one. He stares at the autumn flowers drawing and remembers his dream when the ghost Oksana said that he can enter their world anytime because that's his gift. Thereafter, he puts his hands on the drawing and finds himself in a different world. Once again, he sees the fiery autumn flower, dripping with blood. In a creek, he also sees a crying woman covered with cloth. Although Gogol knows that Oksana is upset with him, he still goes to the river to ask for her help. Soon after, 2 ghosts pull him under the river, where he sees Oksana. He asks for her help in interpreting his visions about the autumn flower. Oksana answers that the autumn flower is also called the blood flower, which blooms once a year during the intercession holiday. It blossoms under the moon where the gold is hidden. She also adds that only an innocent person can pick this flower to uncover the gold, but in order to obtain it, they need to kill another innocent person. Oksana asks Gogol for a tongue massage in return for her help, but it disappoints her to see the rejection on his face. She tells him that he should seek help from his beloved Lisa instead of hers. Gogol clarifies that there's nothing between him and Lisa because she's already married. To calm Oksana, he just allows her to kiss him. Afterward, Oksana tells Gogol that the answer to all his questions is in his childhood. She then pushes Gogol into the river. Under the water, Gogol sees his younger version alongside his parents. The doctor informs them his sickness is incurable and he'll die just like his other siblings. His parents suddenly disappear and are replaced by Lisa. Lisa disappears as well and is replaced by the woman covered in white cloth, who he had seen in his previous vision. When the white cloth is removed, a young lady with a mole appears, asking if he is her destiny. Suddenly a fire breaks out, causing him to wake up. When Gogol goes home, he sees the sorcerer talking with someone. He then goes to church, and the priest warns him to stay away from the sorcerer because he's known for corrupting souls in the Bear Creek. He then asks about Lisa, who is praying near them. The priest says that she might be praying for her sinful husband who doesn't go to church. While Gogol is thinking about his vision, Lisa arrives, so he asks her for directions to Bear Creek. She urges him not to go because it's believed that evil hides there. They're falling for each other's hormones, but trying to avoid it because Lisa is already married. The night of the holiday arrives. Gogol goes to the blacksmith, who's in charge of sketching the clues, to ask him if he can accompany him to Bear Creek. But he refuses because the place is dangerous. However, Gogol is persistent, so the blacksmith just gives him a gun to protect himself. On his way to the creek, Gogol encounters women who are burning sheets. Then a young lady with a mole asks him if he's her destiny, but he just ignores her. According to the old custom, a woman who intends to get married should burn sheets. Meanwhile, in Bear Creek, the sorcerer commands Sister Old's boyfriend to pick the autumn flower. He picks it up, and as it falls to the ground, the gold suddenly comes out. When the boyfriend takes the gold out of the water, it quickly becomes a stone. The sorcerer tells him that he needs to kill an innocent person to get the gold, but he's surprised that the one he needs to kill is his girlfriend's younger sister. Gogol arrives and shoots the boyfriend. Unfortunately, he had already slit Sister Young's neck. It's revealed that the sorcerer is the beast that kidnaps Sister Young, and he deceives Sister Old's boyfriend because he also wants to take his soul. Immediately, Gogol brings the injured Sister Young to Dr. Vodka. However, he's afraid that she might also die in his hands. With Gogol's encouragement, he starts the surgery that saves Sister Young's life. Gogol is confused because the woman in his dream isn't Sister Young, but a woman whom he doesn't recognize. He thinks that their predictions might be wrong because the horseman wasn't able to kill during the intercession holiday. Later that night, Gogol is surprised to see Lisa in his room. Afterward, they admit their love for each other. Unbeknownst to them, the ghost Oksana is in the mirror, peeping at them. The mirror then breaks because of her extreme jealousy. The next morning, they're all surprised that a young lady was murdered in the woods. The horseman killed her last night, which proves that their theory is right. He kills during the holiday. Gogol thought that the horseman's target is Sister Young, so he's very disappointed because he's deceived by him. It's revealed that the young lady was the one Gogol saw in his visions, and also the one who stopped him and asked if he was his destiny. The next holiday arrives. To prevent the horseman's dark plan, Gogol and the local officials order the villagers that all women under the age of 30 should stay at home, which causes a commotion among the villagers. That evening, Gogol asked his old servant if something strange happened when he was a child. The servant just answers that nothing special happened, aside from his constant illness. Gogol feels that the servant is hiding something from him. It's then revealed that before Gogol was born, his father met a stranger with bandages on his face, who told him that he can have a healthy child, but it depends on how far he's willing to go. Gogol's father is eager to do anything just to keep his beloved son alive. The holiday passes without a new victim. However, the next morning, they find the horseman's mark in the houses of 8 women. Dr. Vodka checks the mark and assumes that the dog's blood was used in writing it. In history, the horseman only kills poor women. However, they also find the mark in Lisa's mansion. Gogol suggests gathering up the young women and hiding them on an abandoned farm, but the police chief is hesitant because he suspects that Gogol is a horseman's accomplice. To sum up, the horseman has already killed 5 women, and Gogol assumes that the 8 women, including Lisa, will complete the detective's prediction that the horseman will kill 13 women. Immediately, Gogol goes to Lisa to inform her of the situation. Lisa's husband arrives, then he invites Gogol to eat with them. While eating, Gogol tells Lisa's husband that they need to hide Lisa and the women whose houses were marked by the horseman, but he refuses because he thinks that Lisa is safer in their mansion. Later that day, as the blacksmith's daughter is walking, she hears a dog crying in a house. Out of curiosity, she enters the gate and peeks through the house's window. She's terrified to see a dog hanging beside a widow who's doing magic tricks. The widow then appears behind her, inviting her to go inside. Out of fear, she runs back to her house and tells her father the things that she saw. Afterward, a man is seen outside the widow's house, observing her actions. After his conversation with his daughter, the blacksmith goes to Gogol to report the situation. Gogol instructs the blacksmith to fetch the police chief and brings him to the widow's house. Immediately, Gogol goes to the widow's house, but he's alarmed to see a man stabbing the widow. Gogol tries to stop him, but he hits him, causing him to faint. When he wakes up, the widow is already dead. The police chief doesn't believe that Gogol can't recall the killer's face and thinks that he's behind the murder because he seems to be the horseman's accomplice in covering the secret. Later on, they find a silver nail on the witch's hand, which was used to crucify witches in the past. Gogol concludes that the woman is a witch and the horseman's accomplice, who marks the houses using dog's blood. As Gogol suffers from seizure, he unconsciously writes Latin words on the floor using blood. Gogol pleads with the police chief to start gathering the women because they don't have enough time, but he's still weighing the situation as he doesn't trust Gogol anymore. Later that night, Gogol asks the ghost Oksana if she can read the Latin words that he unconsciously wrote during his seizure, but Oksana cannot understand it as well. He then gets the stake that was used to kill the witch, but Oksana gets scared because it's a holy weapon against evil spirits. Gogol assumes that the man who killed the witch will come back to complete his unfinished ritual, so he immediately asks help from the local officials. After a while, a man goes to the house where the witch's body lies. Unbeknownst to him, Gogol and his team are already waiting for him. After a fast and furious fight, they knock him down and detain him in jail. Now that the killer is caught, the police chief apologizes to Gogol for thinking that he's the one who murdered the witch. They interrogate the man. He says that he's an exorcist who's called by the church to look for the evil spirits and perform purification rituals to them. According to him, the Latin words that Gogol wrote are a spell to cast out evil. Little did they know, the exorcist only has a wooden hand, so when he removes it, the rope tied to him loosens. He commands the police chief to lock himself in the jail as he runs away with Gogol as his hostage. The exorcist asks Gogol's help in completing the ritual against the witch. Gogol agrees. Meanwhile, the witch suddenly resurrects. Luckily, Gogol and the exorcist arrive on time before she hurts Dr. Vodka. In the jail, the police chief is freed by a local official. Since he no longer suspects Gogol, he orders the officials to bring the 7 women to the farm to hide. The exorcist brings the witch's body to the church because he plans to use her as bait to summon V, the head of the evil spirit. As preparation, he locks the doors and windows and marks a circle around them as their protection. He needs to be cautious because he already lost a hormone let-go hand in their last encounter. That's why he's using a wooden hand. This time, he's confident that he'll defeat V because of the Latin spell from Gogol. In the meantime, the local officials bring the 7 women to the farm to hide them from the horseman. Unfortunately, the horseman finds them by tracing the women's hormone smell and kills the officials. An official survives and informs the situation to the police chief, but it's already late. The horseman successfully murdered the 7 women. The police chief is very disappointed and orders to find Gogol because it's his idea to gather the women in one place, which strengthens his suspicions that he is the horseman's accomplice. The exorcist starts the ritual when the witch resurrects. The witch tries to hurt Gogol, but he's protected inside the circle. Oksana, together with the ghost in the river, go to church to help Gogol. Every time Gogol steps on the wooden floor, the circle breaks. That's why the witch is able to hurt him. Gogol unconsciously steps on the wooden floor again, and the witch grabs the chance to kill the exorcist. Gogol has no choice but to continue the ritual alone. On V's arrival, the walls of the church collapses, and the broken glass falls on Gogol. Despite Oksana's warning to avoid eye contact with V, Gogol still looks at his eyes. But fortunately, before V gets Gogol's soul, he's able to cast the spell that killed V. Eventually, Gogol dies as well. The movie ends with a flashback to when Gogol was born. It's revealed that he was dead at birth, but he suddenly comes to life when the stranger with a bandage on his face arrives at the scene. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.